Angry anti-woke culture warriors are ripping into former President Donald Trump for asking them to give Bud Light another chance. He writes on True Social, the Bud Light ad was a mistake of epic proportions, and for that, a very big price was paid. But Anheuser-Busch is not a woke company, but I can give you plenty that are. I'm building a list and might just release it for the world to see. He's making a list, and he might release it. I wonder if he'll release it along with his healthcare plan. I mean, it's been a little bit longer than 2 weeks, but it's coming. It's coming. Now look, he's referencing the one Bud Light ad with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. She was sent a 6-pack of cans with her face on it, and the right wing absolutely lost their minds for months and months. She's living rent-free in their heads for that long. Insane. How dare a company acknowledge the right for trans people to exist in public? Whoa! Now, they ended up actually organizing an effective boycott against Bud Light. In fact, according to data from Bump Williams Consulting, they found a 29.9% year-over-year decrease in Bud Light sales for the week ending January 20th compared to the same period the previous year. You see, those numbers are because the only people who drink Bud Light are either college kids wanting to get hammered on a budget. I was once a college kid, I know. As well as right-wingers who don't have any taste. Because I'm assuming they can't even taste the Bud Light. Okay, I don't remember the last time I had one. They're just not that good, all right? Now, the funny thing, though, is that you have all these anti-woke people who think they're taking a stand for all Americans against the trans agenda, when in reality, they're actually taking a stand against terrible beer. I mean, that's effectively what they're doing, because trans people are not on the average person's mind, okay? They live in the minds of the far right rent-free, but the average person's like, that person is transgender, who cares? Moving on, let's move on with our lives, okay? We saw that in some of the most recent elections where all of these anti-trans candidates and all this this trans panic, all these bills, not effective in their campaigns. A lot of the most virulent anti-trans people ended up losing. And of course, you had those Moms for Liberty candidates, which again ran on anti-LGBTQ issues and the whole, groomer panic, whatever, lost. Big time, okay? Now, however, people like Jamie Michelle, founder and president of Gays Against Groomers, they seethed after Trump decided to say, we should give Bud Light another chance. In fact, here's what they said. I was going to keep my mouth shut, but he makes it so difficult. And yes, Bud Light is still served at all of his establishments. Why is he this way? Florida Governor Ron DeSantis supporter Pedro Gonzalez weighed in as well, saying Trump is defending Anheuser-Busch / Bud Light and trying to undermine the most effective boycott of a company for pushing transgenderism. What does that even mean? I don't remember Bud Light going out there and telling people to go and get sex change operations, okay? Or to take hormone replacement. That's not what Bud Light is doing. Again, one promotion, that was it. Okay, all right. Now, look, here's the thing. I'm actually going to criticize Bud Light for doing rainbow corporate, or I should say corporate rainbow washing. That's what it is. Now, it kind of sucks because what Bud Light and these companies are doing are taking a good position at trans rights, and they're using it for selfish reasons to make money. They don't actually care about trans people. This is a marketing ploy that blew up in their faces because you had a bunch of reactionaries that had a childish meltdown all over social media, okay? To continue on with the point of rainbow washing, Gonzalez says this. Remember that Team Trump initially tried to stop this boycott but failed. Now they're at it again, likely due to some financial arrangement. In a follow-up post, Gonzalez added, Americans boycotted Anheuser-Busch when it shoved transgenderism down people's throats. Again, this is the most ridiculous freak out I've ever seen. It's been one of the most effective protests in recent memory. Trump just called for the boycott to end. Why? Because a lobbyist for AB plans to host a fundraiser for him next month. The lobbyist in question, Jeff Miller, is also a close confidant of Kevin McCarthy. Okay. He adds, tickets are selling for $10,000 each, which is enough to get Trump to undermine one of the rare instances of which Americans, he keeps using that word, man. Americans, oh yes, it's the American people. Yeah, like a tiny fraction. To successfully stood up to a major corporation that tried to force some ideological obscenity on us and never apologized for it. Once again, the guy's unhinged. Oh, they're shoving the transgenderism down our throat. How? How exactly? How? Americans stood up to a corporation and they won. Imagine if people actually did that for good stuff like higher wages and better working conditions. Oh, right. People are. They're called unions. Okay. And we've had a very good surge in union membership and union drives, like things like Starbucks, which is still retaliating against them. John Deere, another one. But yet you have these, culture war obsessed conservatives that despise unions because all they care about is their moral panic over making people's lives better. Because you might accidentally make a trans person's life better. Oh, we can't have that one. Now, can we?
Can't let that happen.
No. But look, it also shows the absurdity of this rainbow washing because Anheuser-Busch claims to be LGBTQ friendly. And yet, they're doing a fundraiser for Donald Trump for a very vicious, by the way, anti-LGBTQ Republican. Remember, he banned trans people from the military. Among many other things, okay? By the way, he appointed a Supreme Court that is massively ideologically conservative that may end up overturning Obergefell. You don't think they're going to come after same-sex marriage? Of course they are. Now, they did it. Trump, of course, got this money from Anheuser-Busch and the support from these corporations that claim to be LGBTQ friendly, because even though they do all this terrible, Trump and Republicans do all this terrible stuff, is because the company gets tax cuts and deregulation from Republicans. That's why companies like Anheuser-Busch that claim to be, great to the LGBTQ community and all these nice progressive cultural, positions. No, you're a joke. You're a joke. You fund the worst bigoted types of people while pretending to be inclusive. F off. All right. There's more conservative freak out. Commentator Eric Erickson said, the problem here is that once you've tried other beer, you realize just how shitty Bud Light is. So only the cult members will go back to it. Or once again, the aforementioned college students wanting to get wasted on $1. But he does make a point, though. Bud Light is terrible. It's true. Here's another interesting comment. Why did Donald Trump suddenly leave Bud Light alone? Because he has a fundraiser coming up with Budweiser lobbyist and BFF for Kevin McCarthy. Trump is not draining the swamp. He's filling it with Budweiser. I wanted to highlight that one as well, because there's a lot of similar comments from people who are mad because they have suddenly stumbled onto the fact that Trump is corrupt and about money. I know, weird, right? But they stumble onto it in the dumbest way possible. Sure, you might have gotten there, but you took the long, stupid way around. And you only did it, and it's the worst part, because the existence of trans people offends you.